Hello, shufflers.
Hello shufflers, and welcome back to Cardistry Talk. Today we are doing a card pickups. This is the second one, and I'll have a third one here shortly after because I've received a lot of stuff in the past couple months. Now I could waste some time chatting, or we can just jump straight into these decks, and I just want to crack on with that. So I have 8 decks here, but before I even get into the decks, I want to talk about the embroidered shirt that you're seeing here. So I picked up some embroidered Cardistry Talk custom items. I picked these up from Queensborough and they did an excellent job. I have the polo here, also got a black cap, and I also got a black hoodie. I got black because blackout is the best, and I'm a big fan of colors that I can match with anything else. In the past, I have done some Cardistry Talk custom stuff, but as you can see from this shirt, the quality was really bad. I went through spring tee for these, or Teespring, I forget which it's called. Very disappointed in this, and just trash. This is custom embroidered, so it's sewn, and it's gonna last a long time, and it feels really good and looks good. So if you want custom embroidery for like a small amount of items, I would definitely recommend Queensborough. They're relatively cheap. This isn't sponsored at all. I'm just a big fan of what they made for me, and I think they did a great job. I really love to be able to promote my stuff through what I'm wearing and just promote the things that I love, and this is something I love, is this podcast and talking about cards with you guys. But I'm sure most of you don't care about clothing, you're here for the decks, so let's crack on. Starting out, I backed a Kickstarter for my friend Cedric Lancy, the Compass deck. Now, what are my thoughts on this deck? I've been a big fan of all of Cedric's work, and this is no different. I've talked with him, and I know the work that he put into this deck. He wanted everything to be the absolute best quality that it could be, without really putting much concern in making money. He was more so concerned in making the best product he could. And you'll see that there's foil on the box, there's a stamp, the cards feel great, and they have metallic ink. A lot of work and effort was put into this deck, and I think it shows. They feel great. I don't think it's any surprise to people by now that I love circle back cards, so this is a circle back design, and I really love that. There's a theme of compass, of traveling, of the world throughout the deck that I think is really cool and fits the name Compass. Overall, really happy with this purchase, and I'm super happy that Cedric got his first deck with his brand new Card Legacy out, and I think he killed it. Good job, Cedric, and thanks for being on the podcast and being a good friend. And then speaking of friends, my friend Hunter recently visited while he was traveling to another friend's house, and he gifted me with 2 decks that I didn't have and was super excited to add to the collection. So starting out with Pink Panther Fontaines, let me just say flat out, love this deck, and I wasn't expecting to. It feels great. I love pink as a color. It's not used a ton, and I'm not super informed or well equipped to judge how well it represents Pink Panther, but I do like the little nods to Pink Panther and the characters that I have seen but don't have like an amazing knowledge on, but it's just cool seeing such a recognizable character on a deck of cards. The coloring is great. Like I said, love that pink. It feels great. I don't buy a lot of Fontaines, so when I do get one, they do feel kind of special. I usually like to go for the big collabs like this in Halloween because they're just so rare for a cardistry brand to be collabing with such big brands, such big IPs. It's absolutely insane that Fontaine's been able to do some of these collabs. It's bonkers. I ended up liking this deck so much that I added it to the rewards for the Cardistry Talk Uncut Challenge. The other deck Hunter gifted me was the Mount 5-2s from Dealer's Grip, and this was the deck I was expecting to use more than the Fontaines, but I actually haven't really cracked it open and used it too much, honestly. That being said, I love the design. It's very abstract. It feels great. There's definitely some shiny metallic bits to the box and to the design. They fan great and they feel great, and I can't wait to use them, poop them out, and to run them through the reins of my regiment of just shuffling cards. Another thing I really do love are these face cards and these pips. There's some amazing coloring going on, very light shades of gray and silver, very light shades of blue and red. It's very beautiful, the faces and the pips. Really love this deck. Definitely want to get more Dealer's Grip decks in the future, especially the regular 5-2. I think that would be a really fun one to get as well. But the Mount 5-2s, really good, and I recommend it. So those were the decks that Hunter ended up gifting me. I ended up giving him like an avocado, I believe. I wasn't expecting to receive any decks, but he's just a really cool guy, and I definitely appreciate him helping a brother out grow the collection. Next up, we have from Organic Playing Cards. These are a little bit older of a release at this point, but Since the previous pickups video, these haven't been shown off, and that is the Team Spicy and the Team Saucy decks from Organic Playing Cards. So starting off with the Team Spicy deck, I am a huge fan of this deck because I am from the Chili Peppers group, the Organic Playing Cards group that meets every Sunday, and this deck, it has a chili pepper on it, and it is kind of inspired by our group. I'm not sure, but it's really cool. For that reason, I have a very strong connection to it because it represents our group, I guess. I'm also slowly growing to like spicy food more and more, so this appeals to me in that sense. So the back design features 2 spicy peppers with a red design, and the faces and pips are really nice deep reds. Both of the colors are red, as you can see here, and you have the face cards. Organic Playing Cards always kills it with the face cards. For these face cards, they have the quartz holding and ingesting hot spicy peppers, and I love to see some of the facial reactions they have on some of these. Cam always puts a lot of work into the design of the cards, making sure there's a nice universal theme. So when you receive an OPC deck, you always know it's going to be really well polished, and there's going to be a lot of work put into the quartz, into every aspect of design, down to the half brick box. They always do a great job. And Team Spicy, I'm definitely Team Spicy. So what are my thoughts on Saucy? The Team Saucy deck featuring jalapenos? Well, I'm Team Spicy, so this deck kind of sucks. Why am I feeling deja vu right now? It's the deck's fault. Okay, that's not completely fair. I do not hate the Team Saucy deck, but I definitely prefer Team Spicy over Team Saucy. That being said, there is some nice work done on these cards, some really nice shades of green for the pips and the quartz, and you'll see the custom faces, custom quartz, just like in the Spicy. It's just turned down a little bit because it's not as spicy. So if you could only get one of these, Team Spicy for sure. If you're feeling bad for Team Saucy, you know, I understand if you get one of those decks. Overall, I think Organic Playing Cards did a good job on this round, and you'll definitely see some of the more recent decks in the next pickup video. So next up, I've been going to a lot of thrift stores, and I've been looking for decks when I'm there, looking for blue sealed decks from Cincinnati, Ohio, because those always feel unique, as well as just unique decks that I've never seen that I feel like might feel good. So I found this sealed VIP poker size standard quality deck. It was only 50 cents and it was sealed, so I thought, why not give it a shot? And am I glad I did that for 50 cents? Not really. These feel really bad. They don't fan or cut particularly well. The reason I picked them up is because they are made by Harbro, so I thought they might be a decent company to make playing cards, but the quality of these, nothing to write home about. I wouldn't go out looking for these. I'll definitely get 50 cents use out of this just by destroying them, throwing them in a toilet or something, and pretending that it's a Team Saucy deck, something like that. But we'll see in the future how I use this deck. So next up, we have a deck from a line of cards that I think is really underrated, and that is the Aristocrat deck. This is the orange deck, and I'm a really big fan of this colorway, but what's really special about the orange version of these is that they are crushed stock, so they feel incredible compared to the other Aristocrat decks. As soon as I found out they were crushed stock, I immediately bought one because I wanted an Aristocrat deck that was crushed stock and not just the regular stock. So these feel great and they handle fantastic, and if there were other colorways that are crushed stock, I would love to purchase them, but I don't think any of the other colors are, unfortunately. So that being said, this has a really nice stamp, a really nice gold stamp. They feel great, they feel really classy. Aristocrats always feel and look classy. Aristocrats are definitely an underrated deck, and I think if you are concerned about the feel of the cards, the quality of the cards to shuffle them, the orange Aristocrat is the one to go for because of the crushed stock. So super happy with this purchase, and to find out that there's an Aristocrat that is crushed stock and in a nice, really unique colorway that I wasn't expecting. All right, this is going a little bit faster than I was expecting, but I want to show off the next deck is the big one. It's the If an Octopus Could Palm V2s from Art of Play. I was one of the ones super lucky to be able to pre-order it for the signed copy, including the deck from Dan and Dave, for a really good price, and I'm super happy to have been able to do that. That being said, I haven't opened this V2, and I don't think I plan to, not because I'm planning on keeping it sealed, but I think I'm gonna sell it. There's just no reason for me to have this deck of cards when it's worth like $100. To me, this isn't worth $100. To someone else it is. I would rather have $100 than just a deck of cards that feels like any other deck of cards for the most part. It's a good deck. I've seen unboxings. I know it looks good and it feels good and it sounds like it'd be a really great deck to have. But for $100, I could get several more decks that I would, one, probably prefer to have, honestly, prefer to use. And it's just, I'm not huge about collectibles anymore. I'm not trying to flex what I have. I'm more so concerned about having stuff that I'm really happy to use and that I really love. And I do really love and am really happy to have this, but I could have more. What are my thoughts on the book? I really love the case that protects it. I wish it was just hardcover in general, but having the hardcover case for the softback is definitely preferred. I think if you didn't pre-order the collector's version, unfortunately you don't get the hardcover case, and that's very disappointing, especially for the cost. The book is obviously really well made. It has some nice embossing, some nice gold metallic embossing, and it looks great. It is a reprint of the original If an Octopus Could Palm for the most part though. Nothing much has been added. I am looking forward to learning some of these moves. I know they are mostly Magic focused, and I don't know or participate in learning a lot of Magic, but this I am interested in, because it comes out of the era of when I was first getting into cards and cardistry. And I'm really excited to be able to add it to the collection. It's kind of like the Jerry's Nuggets when I was able to pick up the new versions of Jerry's Nuggets. Very satisfying feeling to be able to pick up a really expensive and hard to obtain out of reach item from when I was first kind of getting into cardistry. One of those legendary items, to have it, you know, out there for you to buy is really cool. Was it worth the cost? I'm not quite sure. It's very expensive and it's not hardcover, so that's definitely disappointing. So I'm not sure if it was worth the cost, but after I saw off the deck, I'm definitely going to be happy with the purchase. So that was card pickups number 2. I hope you guys maybe saw some decks you haven't seen or haven't heard about, and maybe learned some more about some of the playing cards that have came out recently. These are a little bit outdated for me because I'm way behind on uploading these, so I'm going to have another pickups video coming very soon, so make sure to subscribe to make sure you are able to see that. Not really sure how to end this, so bye. Bye-bye. See ya. Bye. Okay, bye. Bye, Mom.